It's the OCR GCSE Maths Foundation Calculator Paper 3 from November 2023. Let's get straight into it. Question 1. For each letter, draw all the lines of symmetry. For this question, I'd do it in a pencil. Just think where if you folded it over, it would just overlap itself fully. So that would be that one for T. This one would just have 1. And this X would have 4. So 1 across each part of the letter. And then you could fold it horizontally or you could fold it vertically. So that one has 4. Part B. This shape is drawn using 4 quarter circles. Write down the order of rotation symmetry for the shape. Rotation symmetry just means if I rotate it 360 degrees, how many times will it look like this? So it will look like that once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Question 2. In the number 34,752, the digit 4 represents 4,000. Write in words what the digit 7 represents. So that's my units, that's my tens, and that's my hundreds. So it's 7 hundreds. Part B. Write 8 million in figures. So we've got 8 and million needs 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Question 3. What type of numbers are 2, 3, and 5? Are they all cube numbers? No. Are they all even? No, there's a 3. Are they all odd? No, there's a 2. Are they all prime? Yes, I think they are all prime because 2 is a prime, that's the first prime, 3 is a prime, and 5 is a prime. Part B. These are 5 tiles. Arrange the 5 tiles to make a calculation with the answer 3. So we're looking for a calculation with a minus because that's that takeaway. And we need to end up with 3. So I can use 5 and 2 as my units because that will get me a 3. And 35 take away 32 would work. Part 2. Write down a multiple of 8 that can be used using 2 of the 5 tiles. So what are my multiples of 8? That's just my 8 times table. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Which of these could we make? So I can see I can make 32. So 32. Question 4. A fair spinner has 5 sides numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Write down the probability of the spinner landing on 2. So for probability, we're looking for the amount of successes over the amount of trials. So here, the amount of successes, there's just one possibility of getting a 2. And the amount of trials, how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's over 5. Part 2. Write down the probability of the spinner not landing on 2. Because we know the probability of it landing on 2, we can find out the probability of it not landing on 2 very easily. The probability of something happening will add up to make 1. So the probability of landing on 2 is 1/5, and the probability of something happening is 1. So we take 1/5 away from 1, which leaves us with 4/5. You can think of this one whole as 5/5. You're taking away 1/5. 5 take away 1 is 4, so 4 over 5. Part B. Write down an outcome for the spinner that has a probability of 0. What could the spinner land on that would be impossible? So because there's no 6, I'm just going to write down it could land on 6. Could have 0, you could have any number that is at 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Question 5. Use one of these symbols, smaller than, greater than, or equals to make each statement true. So which of these is bigger? -2 would be over here, and 0 would be here on my number line. So 0 is further towards the right, so it's larger. Then I've got 3.5 and 7 over 2. Let's convert this into a decimal. So I've got 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. 3.5 is the same as 3.5, so they're equal to each other. Question 6. A family buys a television for £599. They pay a deposit of £119. They then pay the rest of the cost in 12 equal payments. How much is each payment? So we're trying to find the price of each payment. So to start off with, the price of the TV cost £599. We're going to take away the cost of the deposit, so that was 119, and then we need to divide that number by 12 because we're splitting it up into 12 equal payments. So it's 599 take away 119, and that answer is being divided by 12. That gives us an answer of 40. So each monthly payment will be £40. Question 7. Write this ratio in its simplest form. We've got 4 centimeters and 8 millimeters. Right now, because they're not in the same units, I'm going to change them so that they are. I think it'd be easier to make them both millimeters first. So to convert centimeters into millimeters, I know there are 10 millimeters for every centimeter. So I need to multiply that one by 10 because I'm going from centimeters to millimeters. So 4 times by 10 is 40. I've got 40 millimeters to 8 millimeters. Just write 40 and 8. What number goes into both 40 and 8? So that would just be 8. 40 divided by 8 is 5, and 8 divided by 8 is 1. So it's 5 to 1. Part B, the ratio of 4 to 5 can be written in the form 1 to n, 1 to something. That's what we're trying to find out. We have 4 to 5 and we're trying to aim for 1 to something. What have we divided by on the left hand side to go from 4 to 1? We've divided by 4. So we need to divide by 4 here. That would give us 5 over 4 and prefer it as a decimal. So 5 over 4 is the same as 1.25. Question 8. I've got 4 lots of A plus 2 lots of A plus 1 lots of A. So 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. I've got 7 lots of A. Part 2. 2x, take away 3y, take away 3x plus 4. Let's collect our like terms. So I've got 2x and that minus 3x. So what's 2x take away 3? 2 take away 3 is negative 1. I don't need to write the 1, so it's negative x. And I can see I've got this minus 3y, there's nothing to collect it with, so I just write minus 3y. And I've got plus 4 at the end, and there's nothing to collect that with, so I just leave it as plus 4. So final answer is negative x minus 3y plus 4. Part B. P take away 5 is equal to negative 4. So right now, the left-hand side, we're taking away 5 from that. So to undo that, we need to do the opposite of taking away 5. We're adding 5 there, and we're adding 5 there. We're doing P is equal to, this will cancel out, negative 4 add 5. Negative 4 add 4 is 0. Add 1 more gets you to 1. Question 9. Insert one pair of brackets into each calculation to make it correct. Sometimes it might be useful just to work out what you would currently get and then see where it is, but this one might be quite obvious. We're just putting brackets around here and here. 15 divided by 7 take away 2 is 5. 15 divided by 5 would give us 3. For this next one, it's a little bit longer. We've got 5 times 2, that would give us 10, plus 3 times 2, which would give us 6, is equal to, that would be 16. So we're trying to make this number larger. How could we increase this? So a bracket around these two, and I do 5 multiplied by 2 is 12, and 12 add 3 gives me 13. 13 times by 2 would give me 26, so that would work. Question 10. Factorize 5x minus 20. What's the highest common factor of the 5 and the 20? That's 5. And there's an x here, there's no x here, so we can't pull anything else up. What multiplies by 5 to give me 5x? That would just be x. What multiplies by 5 to give me negative 20? Or what's negative 20 divided by 5? A negative divided by a positive, so it's going to be negative 4. So 5x minus 4. Part B, factorize fully 14x plus 7x squared. Let's look for the highest common factor of the numbers first again. So that would be 7 out of 7 and 14. And we've got an x here and x here. So what's common between those two? It's x. How do we get 14x from 7x? We multiply it by 2. How do we get 7x squared from 7x? We multiply it by x. So it's 2 plus x inside there. The way you can check both of these, you can expand them out. So 7x times 2 is 14x. 7x times x gives you 7x squared. Question 11. Gabby records the number of times a biased 6-sided dice lands on each of his numbers. Complete the table to show the relative frequencies. So we can see Gabby's rolled the dice this amount of times, and the probability of getting a 6 on this dice is 0.1 or 10%. To get a probability of 0.1, we only needed 5 out of those total amount of times. To get a 6% chance, it was 3. So all we're doing is multiplying it by 2 and then dividing it by 100. So 4 times 2 is 8, and it'd be 0.08. 7 times 2 is 14, divide that by 100 is 0.14. 21 times 2 is 42, divide that by 100, 0.42. That one is going to be double that one, so it'd be 0.2. If you added up all of these, you should get a total of 1, and that's how you would check the answer. Part B, use Gary's results to estimate the probability that the spinner lands on 5 or 6. So we're trying to find the probability of 5 or 6. We're trying to find this one, add this one. So it's 0.06, add 0.1. That would just be 0.16. Question 12. Decrease 480 by 20%. Because we're going to decrease question, we do 1 take away whatever this is as a decimal. So to convert this into a decimal, we divide by 100. That would be 0.2. 1 take away 0.2 is 0.8. Then we take the original number and we multiply it by this decimal multiplier. And that's the same as decreasing something by 20%. 480 times by 0.8 gives me 384. Part B. Alex buys a new phone with 10.5 gigabytes of data. This is 40% more than on Alex's old phone. Work out the amount of data Alex had on the old phone. Because this is 40% more data, originally we had 100% of data on Alex's old phone, and we've got 40% more. So this 10.5 gigabytes is equal to 140%. What is 140% as a decimal? We divide it by 100, which is 1.4. So this 1.4 got multiplied by something, the amount of data on Alex's old phone. So that's equal to x. And that's going to be equal to the new amount that we have, 10.5. To solve this, x is being multiplied by 1.4, so we need to divide by 1.4. We divide by 1.4 there. 10.5 divided by 1.4 gives me 7.5. If you want to check this one, you could increase this by 40% and you should get 10.5. Question 13. A student has a pencil case containing 60 pencils. 1/4 of the pencils are red and 2/5 of the red pencils need sharpening. Work out how many of the red pencils need sharpening. So we're trying to find first 1/4 of 60. So you could write that as 60 multiplied by 1/4. This is the same as writing 1/4 of 60. And then we're going to find 2/5 of that answer. Instead of finding 1/4 first and then finding 2/5, we can just do it all in one go, multiply it by 2/5 next. 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 5 is 20, so that's the same as 60 times by 2 over 20, which is the same as 1 over 10. So 60 times by 1/10, which is 6. Question 14. Show that the formula V equals U plus AT can be rearranged to A is equal to this. So we're trying to get this A on its own. What's happening to this A? It's being multiplied by the T first, and then we're adding U to it. So we need to do the opposites of this. Opposite of adding U is taking U, and the opposite of times in by T is divide by T. Let's take away U first from both sides. So V take away U on the left hand side. This is going to cancel out and we're left with AT. So we've done that bit. We need to divide everything by T. We divide this side by T and we divide this side by T. Easy way to write it is V minus U over T is equal to AT divided by T. So that T will cancel. We're just left with A, and we can see it's the same as what's given. Part B, use the formula acceleration equals V, which is the final velocity, minus U, which is the starting velocity, over T, which is the time. To find the acceleration, A meters per second squared, when a particle takes 4 seconds to increase from an initial velocity of 3 meters per second to a final velocity of 9 meters per second. So here, we're trying to work out A, which is equal to the final velocity, which is 9. The starting velocity was 3, so we're doing 9 take away 3, divided by the time, which is 4. 9 take away 3 is 6, 6 over 4, you can simplify that to 3 over 2, which is the same as 1.5 meters per second squared. Question 15. A regular polygon is being constructed inside a circle with center O. Part of the construction is shown in this diagram. Give a reason why OA equals OB. It tells us in the question that this is inside a circle. That means all of these lines that are from the center, from the origin, these are the radius, so they're going to be equal to each other. So radii are equal. Part 2, write down the mathematical name of triangle OAB. So OAB, which is this one, and we know that these two are radii, and it tells us OA equals OB. So we've got two sides that are equal and one side that's different. This is telling us that it's going to be an isosceles triangle. Part B, the regular polygon is completed. Work out the sum of the interior angles of the regular polygon. How do you work out sum of interior angles? We do n take away 2 multiplied by 180, where n is the number of sides. That means we need to find the number of sides here first, because we don't know what that is yet. We can see this circle is being split up into triangles, and each of them will form a side. Around the origin, the total angle of all of this will be 360 degrees. And it's being split up by triangles with a point of 20. So 360 divided by 20, 36 divided by 2 is 18. This is telling me that the number of sides it will have will be 18. Let's substitute this 18 into here. So we've got 18 take away 2 multiplied by 180. 18 take away 2 is 16, and 16 times by 180 is 2,880. That'd be in degrees. Question 16. Dev and Emma share some money in the ratio 2:3. So that's Dev and that's Emma. Dev says, I get 2/3 of the money. If we take a look at Dev and Emma, how many parts are there in total? 2 and 3 is 5. That means there's 5 parts in total, and Dev is getting 2 of those parts. So he's getting 2 out of 5 parts. What mistake has Dev made? Give the fraction of money Dev actually receives. So Dev has thought he's receiving 2 parts out of 3, but it's actually 2 parts out of 5. Fraction of the money Dev receives is 2/5. Dev receives £100. Part B, Dev receives £100. Work out how much money Dev and Emma shared between them. So we know that Dev got 2/5 of the money. So this £100 is equal to 2/5. This is a reverse fraction question. So I'm going to try and find 1/5 and then I'm going to find 5/5 because I'm trying to find the total that they both had. So 1/5 here. On the right hand side, I've divided by 2. So on the left hand side, I need to divide by 2. 100 divided by 2 is 50. And then I need to multiply it by 5. So I get 5/5. 50 times by 5 is 250. Question 17. Work out the perimeter of this rectangle. We've got sides of 11 and 3. So 11 and 3 is equal to 14. And we need to multiply it by 2 because the opposite sides are going to be equal. 14 times by 2 is 28 centimeters. Part B. Finley draws a rectangle and says the perimeter is 20 centimeters and the length is 10 centimeters. Can Finley be correct? Let's draw a rectangle to illustrate what he's just thought of. So if each length is 10 centimeters, that'd be 10 and that'd be 10 centimeters, and the perimeter is 20 centimeters. Is there any room for that length? Right now, the perimeter is already 20 centimeters, so that length cannot be 0, and that can't be 0. It'd be impossible because there'd just be a straight line. So no, because the other sides would have length of 0 centimeters, which is impossible. Question 18. Nina invests £540 at a simple interest rate of 2% per year. Kareem invests £540 at compound interest rate of 2% per year. Work out the difference in value between the two investments at the end of the 5 years. Let's concentrate on Nina first. So Nina is starting off with £540 and she's getting a simple interest rate of 2% per year. So this is important. She's earning 2% of £540 for every year, and that's not going to change. So we need to find what 2% is of this. To find 2%, just divide this by 100. So we're multiplying by 0.02. This will tell us 2%. So 540 times by 0.02, which is 10.8. Each year, Nina will be earning £10.80. And it's for 5 years, so we need to multiply this by 5. £10.80 multiplied by 5, which is 54. So she started off with £540. She's earning £54 in interest. So that will equal £594. That's Nina done. Next, we're going to look at Kareem. Kareem is earning compound interest. So let's just look at the formula for compound interest. So compound interest, we take the original amount, we multiply it by the decimal multiplier, and we raise it to the amount of repetitions. Here, the original amount is 540, and the decimal multiplier, because it's an increase of 2%, we do 1 add 2% as a decimal is 0.02, so the decimal multiplier is 1.02. We're multiplying this by 1.02, and that's to the power of the amount of repetitions. Because there's 5 years, we need to raise it to the power of 5. Type that in. So 540 multiplied by 1.02 to the power of 5 gives us 596.20. 596.20. We need to work out the difference that they earn between them. Kareem earns £596.20, which is more, and we're taking away £594, the amount that Nina earns. That's just going to be £2.20. Question 19. Beth completes some jigsaw puzzles and records the following information. Beth shows this information in a scatter diagram. Beth completes 2 more jigsaw puzzles, a 3,000 piece taking 460 and a 1,300 piece taking 320 minutes. Show this information on the scatter diagram. Let's do the 3,000 piece first. So we start from 3,000 and we go up to 400. I can see there's 5 gaps between 400 and 500, so each gap is worth 20. That'll be that one done. The 1,300, so we start at 1,300, we go up to 300, and it's just going to be 1 above that one, so 320, that's that one done. Describe the type of correlation shown on the scatter diagram. Because one is increasing whilst the other one is increasing, this one is a positive correlation. Part B. One of Beth's jigsaw puzzles was described as the most difficult jigsaw puzzle you will ever try. Circle the most likely jigsaw puzzle on the scatter diagram. Is there any one of these that's an outlier? It'd be this one here. Give a reason why you chose this jigsaw puzzle. We can see the amount of time that it's taken to do this puzzle compared to other similar puzzles with the same amount of pieces is a lot higher. So we can write the amount of time it took to complete this puzzle to other puzzles with similar amount of pieces is much higher. Question C, draw a line of best fit on the scatter diagram. So we just need to draw a straight line going through the middle of all of these points. So I would probably start off there and it would finish there. I think that would be okay. Use your line of best fit to estimate how many pieces are in a jigsaw puzzle that takes Beth 500 minutes to complete. Looking for 500 minutes and we'd draw a line across from there, which is over here, and then we draw the line down. That will be at 3,400. Part D, explain why Beth should not use the scatter diagram to estimate how long it will take to complete a jigsaw puzzle containing 8,000 pieces. If we take a look at this graph, it only goes up to 5,000 pieces, so we don't know what happens after this. It's just a guess. So the reason for this is the data might not be representative of puzzles above 5,000 pieces. Question 20. The diagram shows a penny farthing bicycle. So this is a bicycle that they used to ride in the olden times. It's got a big wheel and a small wheel. The diameter of the large wheel is 130 centimeters. This is saying from one edge of the circle to the other edge of the circle, going through the center is 130 centimeters. The diameter of the small wheel is 46 centimeters. So from there to there is 46. On a short journey, the large wheel makes exactly 69 rotations. The small wheel also makes an exact number of rotations. Work out the number of rotations made by the small wheel. So we need to figure out how far has this large wheel traveled, and it's traveled 69 rotations. What distance is it traveling when it makes one full turn of this wheel? We're looking for the circumference of that circle. Formula for circumference is cherry pi delicious, so circumference equals pi times diameter. Here the diameter is 130, so circumference equals 130 pi. And it's making 69 rotations, so the distance is going to be 130 pi multiplied by 69. That gives me 8970 pi. I'm going to keep it in terms of pi because it tells me it makes an exact number of rotations, so I'm probably going to get a whole answer here. Let's find the circumference of this circle. So it's going to be circumference equals pi times 46, so 46 pi. We need to divide the total distance the large wheel traveled by the distance the small wheel traveled. So we're doing 8970 pi divided by 46 pi. And this is why we'll get a whole answer, because we're going to cancel out these pi's. We've got 8970 divided by 46, which is 195. So this small wheel is making 195 rotations, while this large wheel is making 69 rotations. Question 21. The graph shows the value of sunscreen products sold in a shop for each quarter from quarter 1 of 2021 to quarter 4 of 2023. Part A. Make one comment about the annual variation shown in this graph. We're just looking here for any repeating patterns or any trends. So I can see Q1 is normally in the middle, Q3 is normally the highest, and Q2 is normally the lowest. So in this graph, the trend is repeating every year. So we can say there is a yearly cycle. And we can give an example, e.g. Q3 is always the largest. Part B. In one of these years, quarter 3 was very cloudy. Write down which year this is most likely to be. Give a reason for your answer. So we're looking for anything weird that happened in quarter 3. So we can see that was a high quarter 3. This was a high quarter 3. The spike with this quarter 3 was a lot lower compared to the spikes with those quarter 3s. So that 2023 was probably very cloudy because the sales comparatively did not peak as much as other Q3s. The manager of the shop says that the value of sales in Q4 of 2024 will be 3,100. What assumption has the manager made? The manager is saying that they can predict what the value of the sales are here. But we can't say that because we only have the data for here. So we can't say whether this will be representative of what will happen later. The assumption the manager has made is the data till 2023 will be representative of 2024. Question 22. Part of the graph y equals 2x plus 1 is drawn on this grid. Write down the y-intercept. The y-intercept is just where it crosses the y-axis, so that would be 1. The line continues to the right. Will the line pass above, below, or through the point 40, 80? Show how you decide. So we need to sub in the value of x, and then we can decide what will happen. So let's just sub in x is equal to 40. So when x is equal to 40, we're swapping this x with a 40. The y coordinate will be 2 multiplied by 40 plus 1. 2 times 40 is 80. 80 plus 1 is 81. The coordinate when x is 40, y will be 81. Let's just think about the point that they gave us. They gave us 40, 80. So 40, 80 is over here. And that line is going through 40, 81, which is just above it. The line y equals 2x plus 1 will pass above the point 40, 80, because when x is 40, y is equal to 81. Part C, write down the equation of a line that is parallel to y equals 2x plus 1. So the general form of the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c, where this m is the gradient. It's telling you how steep that line is. And if you have two lines that are parallel, they're going to have the same gradient. So this line has a gradient of 2. So as long as you have a gradient of 2 in your answer, that'd be fine. So you can have 2x, 2x plus 2, 2x plus 3, as long as that m is a 2. Question 22. A number r is 6.2 when rounded to two significant figures. Let's just write the error interval for this. So r, because it's to two significant figures, we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So the smallest possible number it could be would be 6.15 and be smaller than or equal to r, or smaller than 6.25. A number h is 6.2 when truncated to one decimal place. Truncated just means it's cut it off at the end. So it didn't round it up or down, it just cut it off. So the smallest number it could be is 6.2. It could be equal to that as well. It'd be between 6.2 and the largest number it could be would be just below 6.3. Because if it's 6.3, when you cut it down, it would just end in 6.3. So it needs to be everything below 6.3. Part A. Write down a possible value of r that will definitely be less than all possible values of h. We're looking for a number that will be less than all of the values of h. And I know r is between 6.15 and 6.25, and it needs to be below 6.2. So I'm going to choose 6.19. Part B. Write down a possible value of h that will definitely be greater than all possible values of r. This time, I'm looking for a value that's greater than 6.25 between 6.2 and 6.3. So I'm going to choose 6.26. Write down a possible value of r and a possible value of h such that r is greater than h. I'm looking for a value of r and I'm looking for a value of h, and r needs to be larger than h. So I'm going to choose 6.21 for r, and h I'm going to choose as 6.2. Question 24. A restaurant menu has 4 main courses and 3 side dishes. For their meal, each customer chooses 1 main course and 1 side dish. Work out the percentage of possible meals that cost less than £8. Let's first figure out all of the combinations of main courses and side dishes. I'll do this in ascending order, so I'm going to do veggie burgers first, and there'll be 3 options for each of those, so I'll write it 3 times. Then I'm going to do turkey and beef, so turkey and then beef, and finish with lasagna. I'll do this in ascending order as well, so I'm doing garlic bread first, then salad, then chips, so GSC every time. Now I need to work out the value of those. So that'd be £5 plus £1, that'd be 6. 5 add 2 is 7. 5 add 3 is 8. Turkey is 6. 6 add 1 is 7. 8 and 9. Beef is 6, so it'd be same as that one. 7, 8 and 9. And lasagna is 7, so it'd be 8, 9 and 10. Now we need to find all of the ones that are less than £8. So it needs to be less than 8, it can't be 8. So that's less than 8, that's less than 8, that one and that one. How many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of a possible total 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's 4 out of 12, which is the same as 1/3. If I convert this to a decimal, that's 0.3 recurring, and that's the same, because we want it as a percentage, 33.3 recurring percent. Question 25. A sheet of A4 card weighs 1.9 times 10 to the negative 2 kilos. Work out the weight of 500 sheets of the card. So just to type this in easy on my calculator, I'm going to change this into an ordinary number. This is telling me how many zeros there are at the start. Because this is a negative, it's going to be a really, really small number. So there's going to be 2 zeros, and the decimal will be between them, and we've got 119. We're trying to find out 500 sheets, so we need to multiply that by 500. That's 5.95. Part B, card is classified using W, the weight in grams per square meter. W is equal to the weight in grams divided by the area in square meters. A sheet of A4 card is a rectangle that is 21 centimeters by 29.7 centimeters. Calculate W for this A4 card. Let's first consider this weight in grams. In the previous question, they gave us the weight in kilograms, so we need to multiply this value by 1,000. We're doing 0.0119 multiplied by 1,000. That's being divided by the area in square meters. We want to change this so that it gives us an area in square meters, so we need to change these into meters first. How many centimeters are in 1 meter? There's 100, so we need to divide by 100 there. That'd be 0.21. Divide that one by 100, and that'd be 0.297. So to find the area of that rectangle, we're doing 0.21 multiplied by 0.297. Let's just type all of this in. That'd be 0.0119 multiplied by 1,000 over 0.21 multiplied by 0.297. That would give me 190.8. That's been rounded to 1 decimal place. Question 26. The area of this rectangle can be written as ax squared plus bx minus 10. Find the values of a, b, and c. How do we find areas of rectangles? We just multiply the base by the height. So I'm going to write 3x plus 2 multiplied by x plus c. That's going to be equal to ax squared plus bx minus 10, because they told us the area of that rectangle was this. I can work out the value of the c first straight away, because I know 2 multiplied by the c will give me negative 10. So 2c is equal to negative 10. Divide both sides by 2. Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. I'm going to swap this plus c with a minus 5. Now all I need to do is expand this out, and then I can find the value of a and I can find the value of b. 3x times x gives me 3x squared. 3x times by negative 5 gives me negative 15x. Positive 2 times x is plus 2x, and 2 times by negative 5 is going to be negative 10. We're just going to combine like terms. These two will collect up, so we've got 3x squared minus 15 plus 2, which is minus 13x minus 10. We know c was negative 5, a is going to be the 3, and b is going to be negative 13. That's the end of the questions for today. I recommend you go through all of the questions and write down the topics that you struggle with before you attempt another past paper. Feel free to check out my channel and subscribe to find other past paper walkthroughs and work solutions, including the ones from this year's set. I'll see you soon.